Straight shooter, straight through her, nigga. Dead wide up, nigga. Official. Free real, free mode. Juju just served 12 flat on the murder case. Got her 8 months later, caught another murder case. Clap City, nigga.
But you have had to do some, like I said before, you have had to do some things that landed you in trouble, let's say. And of course, obviously, it was because of the addiction.
Right.
Do you want to share any specific stories about that?
Yeah, I mean, the trouble part, here's the thing about again about addiction is that for men and women there's different paths that you can take to feed your habit,
Absolutely.
So for men you can the thing about men and women is it's harder for women to sell dope because I mean it's just harder.
Oh yeah,
so,
absolutely.
So I, as a woman, I always felt like I have two paths I can take. I can either steal from people or steal from stores.
Yeah.
Or, I can work the street, basically.
Right.
And
absolutely.
So in the beginning, I was so like, oh, I would never. That's the other thing about addiction, that you start out with all these I would never, and then all of a sudden you're like,
it's
damn,
like,
I ain't got no
maybe I should do this.
Yeah, all of a sudden shit's like, well, fuck it, man. I already did that. I might as well do this. So, I started out thinking I was gonna be the world's best booster from the stores. Like I was gonna be the world. And then I kept getting these damn death charges, and it was like, you start out with a couple, you get a couple days, and then you get to more like when you get to the 5 or 10 range, you're getting like, more and more time. And man, after I ended up I got a lot of theft charges, a lot, where I'm at least doing 6 months in the county every time.
Oh shit!
Yeah, every time I would.
And how many times did you do 6 months in the county?
Oh man, well I've done more time than my baby's dad, who's been to prison 3 times. So I've done 6 months.
More than 4 times?
Yes.
Oh, you've
done
more than It's like you've been to prison. What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I've done.
Because you have a lot of people out here that say they've done like 19 years in prison or whatever, but it'd be what I call the installment plan. They're doing a life sentence. There's a lot of people out here I consider to be doing life sentences on installment plans. Like they'll go do 6 months, or they'll go do 2 years, then they'll come home, then they'll go back, then they'll come home. Like that's the difference of saying installment plan and back-to-back, no breaks. Like mine was back-to-back, no breaks. Like I just did the whole 17 and a half years and then I came home. But if you did that, man, that's just like going to prison. You say you haven't been to prison, but you've done enough county time. You've done more county time than a lot of cats that done did this prison time. Like you said.
Yeah, but because the thing though, the difference is this is a blessing, but I still don't have no felonies. I don't have any felonies.
Oh, it was all off. Oh, from misdemeanor with priors.
Yeah, those are all misdemeanors. Yeah.
Oh shit, you've done more time than most cats going to prison, all off misdemeanors.
All of misdemeanors. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
See, I'm learning something new. I should have stuck to doing misdemeanors instead of doing felonies.
Yeah, but that time though, that's some slow.
Okay, so what's it like for? I'm sure I've done months. I did 8 months in the county before. I did a year county lid, what they call it here in SAC. You do 8 months and 20 days or some shit like that. Yeah. But for you, the first time you had to go do some real county time, like your first 6 months bid, I mean, what was that like? I'm sure time is different for girls. Like I've talked to a couple of girls or women, that have done county time and prison time, and all the stories is like, to me, it's like it's always been like minimum camp for us compared to what women have to do.
I mean, yeah, technically, there's a difference though, because there's also, you can go to county jail for misdemeanors. You can go to county jail or you can go to city jail. And
okay.
City jail is like a little hole in the wall. You really, it's just teeny tiny. And that's where I started doing my time, was at the little city jails, and then I
Right.
started, going to county jail more often because just based on where I got caught at. But
Oh, okay.
county though, for women, it really depends on where you're at. For me at least, if there was where I was from, there was the new jail or the old jail, and they'll like section it off. You'll get classified, and then they'll put you where people like you are. So, but for me, and I don't know how I didn't get charged. This was this is where I thought I wasn't gonna get my first felony because what happened? I know I brought some dope in, right? And I had brought it in and then fell asleep, and then they called me out to medical, and I didn't have time to hide it, and I was being dumb, so I was wearing my bra, and I shouldn't have brought my bra in because it had a wire in it.
Okay.
So when I went to medical, and I didn't have time to hide it, so I just had it in my bra, and I went through their metal detector.
Oh.
I went off in the metal detector, and so they stripped me. And I was like, damn, how's this going to work? Because now they're stripping me. I got this right here. It's a big black spot. And they found it. And I was like, damn, I'm going to get a felony. And they never charged me with it. I went back to my cell, and that was that. So, but the reason I bring that up, though, is because that's when I was getting classified. I had just got there. They look at you, or they wait for like 10 days, and they classify you.
Right.
Because I had got in that trouble, they maxed me out and put me in, I don't know what it's actually called, but it was like we had A, B, and C tank in the old jail, which was where all the murders or robberies or any of that went. So you were locked in your cell for 20 hours a day, and then you got out for 4.
Okay.
Every day. And so I was there, but at that time I had only done. See, here's another thing that happened. I was supposed to do. Well, they hadn't actually sentenced me to a year, but I had lied in court and told the judge. I didn't really lie. It wasn't all the way a lie. It was like I had told him I was having all these medical problems, which I was, but he was like, well, you need to come back to court with that paperwork. You come back in a month. If you have that paperwork, I won't sentence you to a year. But if you do have that paperwork, if you don't have the paperwork, you're going to go, I'm going to sentence you to a year.
Right.
The clerk wrote it on the paper wrong. So instead of writing, come back in a month, and you know what I mean, and all of that, she wrote released in 30 days. Instead of saying come back in 30 days. So I didn't even know. I had gone to the medical, and I was like still complaining about my medical problems, trying to get out. And the guy was like, well, we ain't going to send you to the hospital because you got a release date coming up. And I'm like, well, what? What you mean I got a release date? He's like, yeah, you got a release date on this day. And I started arguing with the little doctor. He's like, don't argue with me. You got a release date. You know what I mean?
You going home. Why are you arguing with me?
Right. That's what he was saying. He was telling me, like, basically, like, shut up. That's what they're telling me that you got a release date. So
you want to argue that you're going home? Okay, we'll keep you longer.
And that's what, and I was so like, and I kept going back and asking people, like, hey, look, you see my paperwork? Do you think I'm really going to get out? They're talking about I got a release date. And one girl came up to me and said, look, you better stop telling people about that, because one of these bitches is going to get jealous and tell those people, and you won't get out. So just shut up. And if you go home, you go home. And, and I did. I ended up going home.
Oh, good shit. And it never came back on you?
It never came back on me. And the only reason it never came back on me is because I ended up getting sober a couple months later.
Oh,
and
good.
So when I went to court and the judge saw me, he was like, oh, okay, look at you. You know what I mean? You were gone. I was in treatment at that time. I went to court while I was in treatment. So.
Okay. So after all of this stuff, something made you want to decide to actually get clean for yourself. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want to make assumptions, but you seem to be clean now. But something made you want, I don't know if it was in a certain event or something like that that made you decide that you wanted to get clean, or if you just said, fuck it, you had enough of this shit?
No, it wasn't. I didn't think I was ready at that, at the point I got clean. What was a long story that I could kind of make shorter is my baby's dad got caught on another delivery. So this would have been his, well, they always let him down. But anyways, he's got priors, right? Possession with intent. And it was a delivery. So I thought he was going away for a long time. And I went to jail with him, and then I got out, like I just told you. And that's when I got out. And the plan was he wanted me to get clean so I could get our kids back. Because, you know, at this point we had 2 kids, 2 little girls who were in CPS care with my grandma. And our case had been open a long time at that point. It had been like 3.5 years. So I was supposed to get clean. And I got out and got high right away. Like within minutes of leaving the jail, I got high. And so, you know, what was different for me this time was that most times when I was on the streets, I always had my baby's dad with me, and we would have our own little hustle going on. But this time I got out and I was by myself, and it was almost too easy being by myself. And I started getting scared because I would never.
Right, okay.
Like, I got a lot of money now. I got 3 different hotel rooms.
Okay.
And I just felt like this is going to be the rest of my life. You know what I mean? And I'm on the street. You know what I mean? Like, I'm walking the track, doing all kinds of shit that I didn't ever think I would do, and stacking money. And I'm thinking like, oh, I'm a badass now because I got all this money and all these people and all this other stuff. But in reality, I was like, damn, this is scary because, you know, I had a lot of pimps around me. It felt like they were just circling me. You know what I mean?
They probably were.
Yeah, and I felt like, damn, like it's only a matter of time until I trip up, you know, because I'm doing good now. But I see that I know if I start doing bad, one of these niggas is gonna say, oh, let me help you out, or you can come stay here. And my addiction is so powerful.
Right.
I'm gonna go take the
and it's
bait,
a wrap.
And it's gonna be a wrap. You know what I mean? So I started getting real nervous because I was like, man, and that's why I had 3 rooms, because I had a hideaway room, because I felt like, you know what I mean? These guys are coming around way too much. My baby's dad's not anywhere around to protect me. He's always been able to protect me. And I'm like, man, this is getting real ugly. And the other thing was that my baby's dad would not talk to me. I kept like I said, I had all this money. I kept putting all this money on his books, and he would not call. I was like, man, something's not right.
So he knew what you were doing.
That wouldn't have mattered. He knew what I was doing, but it was the fact that I didn't go get our kids back like I said I would.
Oh, right.
When we were in booking together, he said to me, I'm probably not going to see you for a long time. And I was like, you know, we was in booking together. He was like, I'm probably not going to see you for a long time, but I need you to promise me you're going to go get our kids back. And I'm like, I promise, I will. And I didn't.
Yeah, so he hot because you're not doing that.
Yeah, he's hot. I knew he was, because I kept, you know what I mean? Like, and I was hitting licks. And I mean, I was like, how is he not calling me? Like, I'm putting money on his books. How is he not calling me? And kept trying to send messages. I mean, I called what's that guy called in there who does the church in jail?
The chaplain?
The chaplain. I kept calling the chaplain saying I was having emergencies and can you send him a kite? And he was not calling. So eventually my grandma called me and she said, Kayla, I got a letter from Eric. And I was like, I'm thinking it's like, oh babe, I've been in the hole, I love you, or something like that. She started reading the letter, and she's like, oh, yeah, he says he's done with you. He ain't never talking to you again. He's moving back to Indiana. He'll never see you again, la, la, la. And I was like, damn, that's not. I mean, I knew he was probably mad, but we've been like ride or dies for a long time. I was like, I didn't ever think he was at that point, and
Right.
so I wish, you know, I'm glad it all worked out the way it did though, because that was what pushed me to I think it was the next day I called around to treatment center. It was like,
Right.
let me get my shit together because I'm gonna get my man back. That's all I was worried about at first. I was like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
get my man back.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna leave me. No way. So,
Right.
I ended up getting a bed date and treatment. And then when I got to treatment, and by the way, about those pimps, when I went to treatment, the person I left in my room, I called a couple of days later, and they said my door ended up getting kicked in by some pimp that same day that I left for treatment. So it was like all like,
yeah, they was coming.
it was coming, and it was, anyways, I was making moves before I left, before I got out of there, taking shit from people and doing all kind of shit. I knew I was leaving, but anyways, so I went there to get him back. And when I got to treatment, they were like, oh, one of our main rules here is you can't talk to anybody who's incarcerated. So I'm like, man, what you mean I can't talk to nobody incarcerated? That's who I came here for,
Right.
But I was really, also another huge thing was about my kids, and this was a 6-month treatment center for women who are trying to get their kids back.
Right.
So I was like, look, let me, I'm gonna focus on getting my kids back. So that became a huge focus for me, right?
And let me say something real quick, just for the subs, right? If you don't mind. Um, Everybody remember that the stories that I share and the stories that I share is not about specific moves made in the story, but it's about the end. It's about getting where we're trying to get. So please don't come on my channel saying nothing about you would do it for a man but not for your children, because it's listen to the steps before you decide to start making judgments on this channel. You guys already know what it is. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. But and I'll say something too to that. I kick myself all the time. You know what I mean? I'm a mom, but in the beginning, and this is just the reality. Everything, all your priorities are all messed up.
Well, you know what I've heard. I know a couple of women that have been addicts or are addicts, because I guess say once an addict, always an addict. And one thing that most women who are addicts end up, most that I know, have left their children with a family member, either a mother or a grandmother. And they've always said, yeah, I got right eventually, but I wasn't in a rush to get right for my kids because I knew they were good where they were at. And if that makes any sense, and I know some people personally that told me that that's why it wasn't such a priority in their mind, and the addiction was stronger, because they were like, oh, I know they were safer where they were at, not dealing with me. I wasn't in the right shit to be dealing with them. I would have put them more in harm's way.
Yeah, and it's sad to think too, but there's a lot of like self-hatred that comes with addiction, and a lot of like the self-worth, and everything is lacking because of your, so I felt like I don't deserve them. They are beautiful little girls, and they are great where they are. And it wasn't until I got sober for a little amount of time that I was like, no, I can do this. Like, you know what I mean? I'm good.
Because you can. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but it was all, the reason I say though, it never feels good to say like I went to treatment to get my man back, because that's not what's natural to most people. But there's steps in this progression that it took for me to finally decide that I'm actually gonna have to get sober for myself.
Yes.
Because when I got to the end of treatment, I went to court for CPS, and they said, we are proud of you. You've done a great job, but you're not going to get these kids back. It's been too long. You've done too much damage, la, 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 right? So I went back to treatment like, damn, like I can't talk to Eric. I'm not getting my kids back. So what am I getting clean for? And my roommate at the time was like, Kayla, just go to sleep. Just go to sleep, because I was like, I'm leaving. And fuck this place. I'm out of here.
Right.
She was like, just go to sleep, Kayla. Just go to sleep. And I went to sleep, woke up crying. I was like, you know what? I'm going to get sober for myself, give myself a little chance, just one chance. And it was a blessing because if I would have got sober for Eric, if I would have got sober for my kids, I don't know if I would still be sober. So I had to be alone all by myself and see that I can survive without a man. I can survive without my kids, and I can be successful. And I'm not the most successful person in the world, but I'm able to stay sober one day at a time and then fight to get the things back that I want.
And that's success.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And,
yes, ma'am. And I applaud you.
And then everything just happened, you know. After that, it was like everything slowly started happening. I was just staying sober every day and, you know, working on loving myself again and, you know, getting accustomed to life again. I had never been clean, like, for an amount of time. So
over 15 years, yeah. It's a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time. So, you know, it's been great, though. You know, I got out of treatment. I got my kids back, both of them. They're knuckleheads.
Yeah,
They're little knuckleheads, but they are wonderful little girls. They're 4 and 5. And, you know, my CPS case is closed. It was open for 5 years, and it's finally closed. So, you know, that worked out. Everything's been, you know.
Okay, so I like to, if you haven't noticed, I like to anticipate what the subject going to say next, right? Where's number 11?
Oh, okay, yeah. See, so
I know that's going to come up because earlier you said your oldest was 11 years old.
Yeah. See, it's hard sometimes because I've been so distant. When I got sober, I hadn't seen my daughter in 9 years.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Okay, so I had been gone her whole life, right?
Okay, right.
No, it would have been 7 years.
Okay. Still a long time for a little girl.
Long time, regardless. It was a long time. And she hadn't known me since she was a baby. She was 2 the last time I saw her. And I never thought I would be able to see her again because of how long I had been gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally got to reunite with my daughter. It was after, so let me do the math. It would have been in 2018, the end of 2018 is when I got to reunite with her. And she lives with her dad. She's always lived with her dad. But he's been really open to actually it wasn't till 2019 matter of fact, because I had to have a year clean before he would even consider it.
Okay.
And but we went to Disneyland on Christmas, this last Christmas. So, I mean, we see each other. I mean, she added me on Facebook, like, you know, it's been.
I understand how much that could mean. Believe me, I went 17 years without my kids. So just getting a Facebook ad is something.
I was like, whoa, that's cool. And she's texting me. She said, I got a cell phone, Mom. She doesn't call me Mom. Don't.
Right.
She said, I got a cell phone now.
Yeah.
And, you know, and
so it's a work in progress. Okay.
Yeah, progress.
I understand. Believe me, I understand that 100%. Like I said, I had 5 before I went to prison, and they're all adults now. So I left; they were babies. You know, but my son lives with me, so that shows something.
Yeah, it's huge.
It was 4 girls and 1 boy when I first left, and the 1 boy, my junior, has been living with me for the last 3.5 years, and I've been out for 5 years. Yeah, but so I'm sorry not to get into my story. So you got the custody, you got your 2 youngest back.
Yes.
And you got something else back, right?
Oh, yeah. Him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got him back. He wasn't going nowhere.
That's right. I like when a story pans out, man. I like when it comes back together like it's supposed to.
Yeah, and it's a huge blessing. You know, we've been through a whole lot together. Right. And but you know, the love has always been there. Right. And the minute he found out, I mean, cause I'm pretty like, hey, you better tell me what it is and what it ain't, right? So when I got to treatment, I wasn't supposed to be writing him, you know what I mean? But I wrote him a couple times, like, look, hey, I'm doing it now, you know. And he waited, but once we were able to, it was like nothing had changed, you know, and we really fought, you know, and this whole time has been cool because it's not often that people can be together and then get clean and then stay together.
Yes,
You know?
I've heard of this before.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh,
And
so
I wouldn't want it any other way.
he had a substance abuse problem too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
He been,
Okay.
he been, and you know, I don't know why this just popped in, but we were using meth the whole time too.
Oh, okay.
I never said that,
Meth
but
and heroin at the same time?
yeah, we was shooting meth and heroin at the same time. It's called a goofball rather than a speedball.
Speedball, yeah, I know cocaine and heroin is a speedball, right?
Yeah, but a goofball is meth and heroin, and that's what we were doing. It's
That was serious.
yeah, pretty serious.
Damn. Okay, so what is Miss Kayla Lewis got going on now, other than the channel? What are you working? Are you? I know obviously you're still working on your sobriety, but what's going on with you now?
I'm working on the sobriety. I'm not working. I take care of these kids full time.
Oh, you have the girls full time.
Oh yeah, they live
Oh,
here.
okay.
Man, they go to his house on the weekends, so I'll be getting my little days off, get my little nap time.
Oh, they go to the baby daddy house on the weekends?
Yeah, because we don't live together.
Oh, okay.
For numerous reasons, but I live somewhere that has to do with your rent, has to do with your income, right? And he got him a good job, so we just stay separately for right now. This is a program though that I came to when I first got out of treatment, and you leave here with housing, like permanent housing.
Yeah, we have those kind of places here. I've dealt with people from there. I know all about them, and you can stay there almost as long as you need to, damn near as long as you're still following the rules, right?
Yeah, I mean, my place is. I'm gonna do a damn YouTube video about how this place works. It's wild.
You should.
I stay in my house. It's a war zone out there. It's craziness.
Oh no, I've seen it. Every little, like I went to one and it was like a little compound. Like it's all around, and they got like poles with cameras and buttons, and I'm like, man, this is like a jail. What?
Yeah.
It's like a jail with fancy furniture. Like, come on, man.
We got steel doors and everything.
Yeah, and then but then I'm like, you got people opening back gates to let people in. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's for real.
I'm like, and then look at me. I'm 6'3", 220, all tatted, blasted. I mean, I don't dress like a square. And you got people letting me in the gate. You don't know me. You don't know if I'm coming to bring somebody some drugs. I look like the person that might be bringing somebody some drugs.
Yeah, that's how it is, Jared. It's a nightmare. And it's sad, though, because this is YWCA property. Like, this is through the YWCA.
Oh, like the YMCA.
Like the YMCA.
Okay, yeah.
But it's just, anyways, but I live here. I'm about to be done with this place, and then I'll get my own, like, apartment and whatnot.
Okay.
But,
well, let me say that I applaud you for, how long have you been clean now?
Almost 2.5 years.
2.5 years. That's a good thing. You haven't been incarcerated in that much time either, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks for sharing your story on my channel. If there's anybody you want to send a shout out to, send it out now before I do the closing stuff.
No, I mean, shout out to my baby's dad. He's wonderful.
Eric,
Love you,
salute, Eric. Salute, brother.
Eric. Yeah,
salute,
but no,
salute for cutting her. Salute first for cutting her off until she did what she was supposed to do. Yeah, because I had that problem too. But hey, so like I said, I wish you all the best. If there's anything I can ever do to help you in your channel or whatever, all you got to do is holler back. It's nothing. And everybody else in the kennel, like I said before, make sure you guys go to Street Life to Housewife on YouTube. Check out her videos. You might find something interesting. If you got somebody that's been through some stuff, send them over there. Let them check her out. She might have some inspiring things to say to them. Other than that, Miss Kayla, thank you again. And I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. And y'all
one more thing really quick.
I almost
Sorry.
said,
one more thing it made me think.
Yeah.
If anybody ever wants to, if anybody has any questions about addiction, needs help with anything in addiction, or just life, you can always hit me up, like you just said, on my channel or on my Instagram, because I like helping people. I'm not trained in any way, shape, or form, but I have been through enough things that I'm always open to questions or anything like that. So.
And most of the time, for y'all that don't know, most of the time, the people with the best advice are the people that are not trained, but the people that actually lived it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've witnessed that myself. So, like she said, if y'all need any questions with addiction or anything else, it's Kayla Lewis 89 at Instagram, or Street Life the Housewife on YouTube. You'll see it scrolling across the bottom now, and you'll see it scrolling across the bottom earlier. Other than that, man, y'all stay loyal. Hold on.